Suplex Rumble fam, this is breaking news. Paul Heyman, the legendary special counsel, the wise man, the advocate of champions, has just been brutally attacked by a mystery assailant, and the entire wrestling world is in absolute chaos right now. This attack was vicious, it was calculated, and most importantly, nobody knows who did it. The speculation is running wild, and we need to break down every single clue, every possible suspect, and what this means for the future. Before we dive into this investigation, smash the like button right now, hit subscribe to join the Suplex Rumble family, and turn on notifications because this story is developing by the minute. Let's solve this mystery together. Before we get into the attack itself, we need to talk about why this is such a massive deal. Paul Heyman isn't just another personality in wrestling. This man is wrestling history. For over 3 decades, Paul Heyman has been one of the most influential minds in the industry. As the advocate for numerous champions, as the mastermind behind revolutionary wrestling companies, as the voice that has launched countless careers and shaped storylines that defined eras, Heyman's impact is immeasurable. Think about the careers he's been connected to, the champions he's guided, the promos he's delivered that have become legendary. The wise man has been at the center of some of the most important storylines in modern wrestling, particularly in recent years with his role as special counsel to multiple high-profile competitors. Paul Heyman's greatest strength has always been his mind. He's not a physical competitor, he's the strategist, the negotiator, the voice of reason, or sometimes the voice of chaos. He operates in the shadows, pulls strings, makes deals, and manipulates situations to benefit his clients. That's what makes him so valuable, but also what makes him so vulnerable. Over the years, we've seen Heyman navigate dangerous waters. He stood face to face with the most dangerous competitors in the business, always relying on his words to talk his way out of physical confrontations. He's been threatened, intimidated, and occasionally put in harm's way, but he's always managed to survive through intelligence and negotiation. But last night, intelligence wasn't enough. Words couldn't save him. Someone decided it was time to send Paul Heyman a message in the most brutal way possible, and the shockwaves from this attack are going to be felt throughout the entire wrestling landscape. The question everyone's asking is, who would dare attack the wise man, and what motivated this shocking assault? Alright fam, let me walk you through exactly what happened, because the details of this attack are chilling. Paul Heyman was backstage in a corridor area, apparently heading from one location to another. Security camera footage reportedly captured some of the incident, though details are still emerging. Heyman appeared to be alone, which is unusual given that he typically has protection or is accompanied by his clients. According to reports from witnesses backstage, Heyman was ambushed from behind. The attacker came out of nowhere, and when I say nowhere, I mean this was planned, calculated, and executed with precision. This wasn't a spontaneous act of rage, this was a planned assault. The attack itself was absolutely brutal. Multiple strikes, a vicious beatdown that left Heyman crumpled on the floor, and here's the most disturbing part: the attacker was wearing dark clothing with their face obscured, making identification impossible in the chaos of the moment. Witnesses described hearing the commotion and rushing to the scene, only to find Heyman laid out, barely conscious, with his attacker already disappeared into the backstage area. By the time security arrived and medical staff attended to the wise man, the perpetrator had vanished like a ghost. The psychological aspect of this attack is particularly disturbing. This wasn't just about hurting Paul Heyman, this was about sending a message. The fact that the attacker concealed their identity means they wanted the mystery to linger. They wanted fear and paranoia to spread throughout the locker room. They wanted everyone asking the same question: who's next? Medical personnel immediately attended to Heyman, and while we don't have complete details on his condition, reports indicate he sustained significant injuries from the assault. The fact that EMTs were called and trainers were working on him for an extended period tells you just how serious this attack was. Perhaps the most haunting detail? Right before disappearing, witnesses claimed the attacker stood over Heyman's fallen body for a moment, looking down at their handiwork, before calmly walking away. That level of cold calculation is absolutely terrifying. Now we get to the fun part, or should I say the intense part? Let's put on our detective hats and break down every possible suspect, because in wrestling, everybody has a motive. Paul Heyman has represented numerous competitors over the years, and not all of those relationships ended well. Think about the potential for someone feeling betrayed, used, or discarded by the wise man. When a business relationship with Heyman goes south, people remember. Could this be someone who feels Heyman abandoned them when they needed him most? Someone who blames the wise man for a career setback or a championship loss? In wrestling, grudges run deep, and revenge is a dish best served cold, or in this case, brutally. If you can't get to a champion directly because they're too protected, what do? You attack their advocate. You take out the voice in their ear, the strategist guiding their moves, the counsel they rely on for direction. Removing Heyman from the equation would weaken whoever he's currently aligned with. It's psychological warfare at its finest. This could be a mastermind opponent who understands that champions are only as strong as the team around them. Paul Heyman's connections, his influence, his ability to elevate careers, these are things that other people in the business might envy. Could this be a wrestler who's frustrated that Heyman won't work with them? Someone who sees the success of Heyman's clients and wants to tear down that empire? Jealousy is a powerful motivator in wrestling. When you see others getting opportunities, guidance, and success that you believe you deserve, it can drive people to extreme actions. What if this attacker is someone we've never seen before? What if this is a debut, someone making the most impactful first impression imaginable by taking out one of wrestling's most important figures? Wrestling history is full of shocking debuts, but attacking Paul Heyman would instantly put someone on the map. Every fan would know their name, every wrestler would fear them, and every storyline would revolve around finding out who they are and why they did it. Could this be someone from Heyman's past returning to settle an old score? Someone who's been away from wrestling for years, nursing a grudge, waiting for the perfect moment to strike? A return wrapped in mystery and violence would create instant buzz. Here's the conspiracy theory angle. What if someone close to Heyman orchestrated this? What if this is a power play from within his own circle? Wrestling is built on betrayal, and the most devastating betrayals come from those we trust. The fact that Heyman was alone and seemingly vulnerable suggests he might have been set up by someone who knew his schedule, his movements, his routine. That level of inside information points to someone with access. Let's examine what we know. The attack was from behind, suggests the attacker wanted to remain hidden, dark clothing and obscured face, premeditated concealment, brutal and efficient, suggests combat experience, the attacker's size and build, witnesses' descriptions vary. Was it one person or could multiple people be involved? The timing, why now? What triggered this specific moment? The location, backstage, away from camera's strategic choice. Fam, the wrestling community has transformed into a detective agency overnight. Social media is flooded with theories, frame-by-frame analysis, and fans playing detective trying to identify this mystery attacker. Let me share some of the most popular theories circulating right now. Some fans are connecting this attack to other recent storylines, suggesting there's a larger conspiracy at play. They're creating elaborate connection boards like we're solving a crime thriller, linking different incidents and suggesting this is just one piece of a bigger puzzle. Wrestling fans are incredible at analyzing the smallest details. People are discussing the attacker's movement style, trying to identify wrestling styles based on how the assault was executed. Some are saying the strikes looked familiar, others are analyzing the stance and movement patterns. Some fans are taking a more strategic approach, asking who benefits most from Heyman being taken out. Who gains power, opportunities, or advantages with the wise man sidelined? In wrestling, you follow the money and the championships. Skeptical fans are suggesting that maybe the obvious suspects are too obvious, and we should be looking at completely unexpected people. The person you'd least suspect is often the most dangerous. Some fans believe the attack was too efficient for one person, suggesting there might have been multiple assailants working together. A conspiracy requires conspirators. The hashtags are trending worldwide. People are posting their theories, creating mock interrogation rooms with suspect lists, and genuinely invested in solving this mystery. That's the beauty of wrestling storytelling. When it's done right, fans become part of the narrative. What I love about this is how the community comes together to analyze, debate, and speculate. Whether theories are correct or completely off base, the engagement and passion show just how much people care about these stories. Let's talk about the massive implications this attack has for the entire wrestling landscape, because the consequences are far-reaching. Without Paul Heyman, whoever he represents loses their strategic advantage. Champions rely on Heyman's mind, his negotiation skills, his ability to manipulate situations in their favor. His absence creates vulnerability, and in wrestling, vulnerability gets exploited fast. We could see challengers becoming more aggressive, knowing that the person guiding their opponent is temporarily out of the picture. Championship matches become more unpredictable when one side loses their most valuable advisor. When someone as prominent as Paul Heyman gets attacked and the perpetrator remains unknown, paranoia spreads through the entire locker room. Who's safe? Who's next? Can anyone be trusted? This creates an atmosphere where alliances become crucial, where watching your back isn't optional, and where trust becomes the most valuable commodity. Expect to see more wrestlers traveling in groups, more security, more suspicion. Wrestling authority figures will likely launch investigations, conduct interviews, and review footage. This creates opportunities for dramatic interrogation segments, confrontations between suspects, and the slow unraveling of clues that keep fans engaged week after week. Heyman's recovery period creates natural space for surprising returns or debuts. While he's sidelined, someone could step into the special counsel role temporarily, or multiple people could compete to fill that power vacuum. The mystery attacker angle can sustain months of storytelling. Each week brings new clues, new suspects, and new twists. When the identity is finally revealed, it needs to be someone whose motive makes perfect sense in hindsight, creating that "I should have seen it coming" reaction. When Paul Heyman returns, and trust me, he will return, he'll be out for revenge. The wise man might not physically compete, but his mind is his weapon. Whoever attacked him just made a powerful enemy, and Heyman's revenge schemes are legendary. If Heyman is associated with championship storylines, this attack could trigger title changes, alter championship match stipulations, or create scenarios where titles are defended under different circumstances. Everything connects to gold in wrestling. Let me give you my predictions for how this unfolds. Based on years of watching wrestling storytelling patterns, multiple wrestlers get questioned as suspects. Heyman possibly appears via satellite to address the attack. False leads and red herrings keep everyone guessing. Tensions rise between various factions as suspicion spreads. Potential copycat attacks or similar incidents creating more chaos. The investigation narrows down suspects. A major clue gets discovered that changes everything. Heyman begins his return, possibly with enhanced security. The attacker might strike again, either targeting Heyman or someone else. Alliances form between those seeking to protect themselves or find the truth. When the mystery attacker is finally unmasked, expect a dramatic confrontation with Paul Heyman, a motive that makes total sense in retrospect, immediate feud implications, potential championship ramifications, a moment that becomes a defining career point for the attacker. I believe this attacker is someone making a power move, not just personal revenge. This is about control, about changing the power structure, about making a statement that reverberates through the entire company. The reveal will shock us, but the motive will be crystal clear. This storyline has the potential to be one of the most compelling mystery angles in recent memory if executed properly. And there you have it, Suplex Rumble fam. Paul Heyman has been brutally attacked by a mystery assailant, and the entire wrestling world is on edge trying to figure out who did it and why. Now I need your help with this investigation. Get down in the comments right now and tell me, who do you think attacked Paul Heyman? What's your theory on the motive? How do you think this story should unfold? Who benefits most from Heyman being taken out? Drop your detective work in the comments. I'm reading every theory. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on every development in this story, demolish that like button. We're going for 20,000 likes on this one. Subscribe to Suplex Rumble if you haven't already, and smash that notification bell so you don't miss our coverage when the attacker is finally revealed. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know because we all need to be discussing this mystery. Thank you so much for being part of the Suplex Rumble community. We're investigating this together, and we will figure out who attacked the wise man. Until the next update, stay vigilant, trust nobody, and keep your eyes open because in wrestling, anything can happen and anyone could be the culprit. I'll see you in the next video where we'll have more developments on this story. Until then, keep rumbling, stay awesome, and remember the truth always comes out eventually. Let me know if you need any further modifications.